Since the war on Gaza started, thousands of Israeli settlers have enlisted in the Israeli military's reserve units. Many serve in the occupied West Bank, where human rights organizations say they protect settlers during attacks on Palestinians and their properties. As the settlers gain access to more weapons, Palestinians say the severity of their attacks has increased. Nida Ibrahim has this exclusive report.
This is my land, shouts this Palestinian man in Hebrew. But Israeli settlers continue drilling, preparing to put up a fence. Saeed Al-Amour is trying to get settlers off his farm in the village of Al-Rakiz in the south of the occupied West Bank. Saeed is 58 years old. He's unarmed. One side has the backing of Israeli authorities, the other is defenseless. The settler loads his firearm. He later shoots into the air, then fires at Saeed.
He fired 2 shots into the air and the third at my leg, just below the knee. I fell down and stayed on the ground, bleeding for 45 minutes.
Handcuffed while he was hospitalized, Saeed's leg was amputated. Doctors told him they could not stop the bleeding.
Just a day later, I was only allowed to leave the hospital in a prison van. My recently amputated leg kept hitting the metal floor and hurting me. I held my leg with my arms like this and asked the guards, "Are you continuing what the settlers started?"
When the police investigated, it was Saeed, not the settler, who was summoned for questioning. Saeed says he knows who shot him, a security coordinator from the nearby illegal Israeli settlement. Human rights organizations say no one has been held accountable.
They want to remove me and my family from this area to link it to their settlement. They want a land without people.
Since the war on Gaza started, the Israeli government has taken steps to increase the settlers' access to weapons and ammunition. Thousands have enlisted as reserve soldiers, and many of them regularly intimidate and assault Palestinians, further blurring the line between the army and the settlers.
You have to be blind not to accept the reality while using sometimes different tactics or different means, and from time to time even have clashes. The Israeli army or the Israeli state and the Israeli settlers movement sharing the same goal of expelling as much Palestinians as possible and taking as much as Palestinian land as possible. It's an unofficial branch of the Israeli state violence.
On Monday, Israeli settlers, including the man who shot Saeed, returned to Al-Rakiz village. Again, they assaulted Palestinian residents. As their leaders fail to protect them, Palestinians fear this recurring attack is just one of many more to come. Nida Ibrahim, Al Jazeera.
Let's now speak to Amjad Abu El Ezz. He's a lecturer of international relations at the Arab American University, joining us from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank this hour. Thanks for your time. So some are saying that the uncontrollable settlers in the occupied West Bank are truly becoming an armed wing for the Israeli government. To what extent do you think they're acting as a parallel military force, implementing what could be seen as an Israeli genocidal plan in the occupied West Bank?
Yes, I think what's happening now in West Bank is part of the Israeli strategy, which is like built on 2 interconnected pillars, internally and externally. But both this strategy is aiming at preventing establishment of Palestinian state, and also encouraging Palestinians to leave, reinforcement. And so that's what empowering settlers in West Bank is to achieve and also it's kind of coordinations between the settlers and the Israeli army to act as let's say, called a security proxy we are witnessing increased and violence activities, killing, uprooting trees, burning houses and cars. And that's, as I mentioned in the beginning, is part of the Israeli strategy to make our lives here in West Bank impossible and difficult. So that's what pushed us to leave. And of course, there's more than gates on the road. There's more than 1,000 gates on the entrance of the villages, Palestinian villages and towns. We are talking about economic measures that also to weakening the Palestinian Authority, making it weak, fragmented, and also giving power to local entities. So that's part of, as I mentioned, part of the Israeli strategy to prevent the Palestinians from building their own state by building Israeli facts on the ground. So we're talking about more than 700,000 settlers. They have weapons. They are acting as an army in parallel with the Israeli army. That go back. Remind me what's happening in 1948 when the Israeli Haganah and Stern groups, they use the same when they become out of control of the Israeli government at that time. So, and actually the fears of the Palestinians now that these groups now, they're out of control. They are not just attacking the Palestinians, but also actually attacking the Israelis who's against settlements, against the Israeli policies in West Bank.
Right.
So, and I think in 5 to 10 years, they will be out of control, and that will be really dangerous for the Palestinians and even for the Israeli society.
You were mentioning the Palestinian Authority. So while the territorial map is being redrawn by both the Israeli army and the settlers in the occupied West Bank, this is all happening under the Palestinian Authority's watch. What options are left for the PA to prevent all of this, to prevent what could be a genocide on its territories?
I mean, the Palestinian Authority now has a very weak positions economically, politically, and also what's the policies on the ground. Financially, the PA tried to keep its head above the water. I mean, while the Israeli withhold the Palestinian clearance financial revenue, and also there's kind of there's a need internally Palestinian to unify, to go for resolution, to Palestinian unity, because without that we cannot even talk to the international community. I mean, we see the Israelis empowering settlers. I mean, there's a lot of options that the Palestinian Authority can adopt, but if there's a political will, they can, of course, put pressures on the Israelis through the international law, going to the courts, also coordinate to go for the elections, giving free blood to the new leaderships and the Palestinians. I mean, there's a huge lack of there's a lot of challenges that the Palestinian Authority facing now, as I mentioned, because of the Israeli policies. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, seriously, here as a Palestinians watching both sides, the Israelis and the Palestinians, I mean, there's an aimed strategy for the Israel to weaken the Palestinian Authority, to make it just like weak entities that doing the functional service like water and electricity without any political legitimacy, without any political goals and aims. Right. And that's put the Palestinian Authority in a very awkward position.
How dangerous a moment is this for the occupied West Bank? What are the short as well as long-term implications?
I mean, after the decisions from the Israeli parliament yesterday for the annexations, I mean, everybody, was worried. That means the Israelis will be inside the Area A and central the Palestinian cities. That means they will conduct and implement policies. That means if we conduct any kind of policies, they will consider illegal. That means a new policy of deportations of the Palestinians. Taking our nationality. So actually everybody here is worried about the new policies. And actually there's a lot of fears and also like kind of blame of international community, what we are seeing. And all these policies from the Israeli policies, annexations, holding the Palestinians' money, we don't see any reactions from the European Union. Even the EU failed to impose sanctions on Israel. So what we feel as a Palestinians, we are now alone. Mainly with the increase of the settlers' activities in West Bank and burning houses under the protection of the Israeli army and under the camera. Everybody is watching what's happening here in West Bank. Everybody knows what's going on. We've seen a couple of EU ambassadors visiting refugee camps, but actually in the ground, we don't see anything. What we are seeing just like a statement, declarations. It's just like we feel we are alone now in this difficult time.
Amjad Abu El Ezz, you're a lecturer of international relations at the Arab American University, speaking to us from Ramallah this hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.